Welcome to the Poker Ain't Life podcast, where we are going to debunk the $1,000,000 question: is poker all about life, or is life all about poker? Is the common saying poker is life just something lucky people say, or is Damien's back tattoo of the poker bunny actually a good investment? We will find out soon on the Poker Ain't Life podcast. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest for you. And some might say that the poker gods chose him themselves. Some might say that he is deep in these poker waters, turning poker water into poker wine. Some may say that is all the Moses puns I have. So introducing Poker Moses.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure to be here.
So I always call people by their, their IG name or their handle or their tag or whatever. Actually,
That's the culture we come from. We don't introduce ourselves by our government names.
There you go. Yeah, actually, I was going to ask you what's your name, but maybe that's something we should ask people. Do you feel comfortable?
I mean, it's cool. My actual name is Christopher Aguilar.
Okay.
I got the nickname Moses because obviously my hair and just, I guess, my presence on the table.
Yeah. So what's the last name is of what descent?
Descent. Honduran. I'm Honduran.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, though.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, all day.
Have you run into Damien at all? Have you run into Damien on the tables at all?
That's how we met, man, playing those underground games, man.
Okay.
Yeah, quick little fun fact. The first time I ever had Casa Azul, Chris actually brought it to the game. And since that day, he converted me to tequila. So that was the first time ever. Since that day, he was always a friend with me once he put me on.
Big facts. Tequila all day.
Facts. All right, so Poker Moses, we just talked a little bit about, playing in Brooklyn in the underground games and like playing for just overall, it's like that transition from playing at Cash's tournaments is something I had to like make an adjustment to. And it seems like you're making that adjustment now too. So like, tell us a little bit about like your first year, like going pro, like where do you play and what was your biggest cash tournament wise and cash wise?
Okay, so for this year, just specifically this year?
Overall, poker career. Let's go poker career.
Poker career? Oh, wow. Okay, so let's start with, I've been playing poker since I was 11. Started out in the back of a barbershop.
Let's go. Same here.
Just learning, but obviously real poker, really like going to play these games. I mean, in my lifetime, my biggest tournament cash would be 60K. Recently, it was 57, so almost 60, 57K that just happened last month in Rounders.
Let's go.
And then my biggest cash would be 35K in a game in a night.
Sheesh. All right, so I got to ask a couple questions. So Rounders, that's in San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
All right, so big shout out to Beto and Drew and the crew over at Rounders. Good little spot. But
cool dude, man. I had a conversation with him. Real good dude, man. Cool.
Yeah. Hopefully one day we get big enough to get Drew on here, but totally agree. Drew is definitely one of those people you always want to root for. I feel there's some people in poker you want to see just win as long as you're not in the game or at the table. But like 35K in a cash game, was this like underground game?
That's what I thought he said. That's crazy.
Yeah, we got to hear about that for the biggest cash. Where was it? Like, what do you remember from that night? Like,
it was funny enough, that came on real early in my career. I was younger, and I used to just play big because, you're fearless when you're young.
It's just less responsibilities.
You're just young and you need the ego, and you're just like, man, I'm playing. I don't care. I'm playing. And I think I ran, what was it? I ran like 5K into 40. Turned 5 into 40. It was a crazy game in the city. The city games back then, like 10, 15 years ago, was kind of crazy.
It was a good time back in the city back then. But
back in those days, it was a lot of cash on the table.
What was that, like 20?
Oh, go ahead, Tony, my bad.
I was trying to figure out the limits. Was that like 10-20?
Funny enough, it was like a regular 5-10, because these home games don't play like that.
I know.
Home games with businessmen really they just call for as much as they want. You know, like I've sat in home games where everyone is sitting with 10K or better, and it's a 5-5 game. It's very weird, you know, like,
Crazy.
and that was the transition that I had to understand going to like really play real poker around the country and around the world. It's like, oh no, limits matter. Like if you want to play 1-2, you're playing against a certain type of people for a certain type of money, and it's like, oh, it's not the same. I understand now.
And honestly, that might have helped you, and probably me as well, because I come from a similar environment where, you know, it's real aggressive poker. You know, just because the limits are small doesn't mean you'll see a 10-20x raise pre-flop. And you know, when you go to, and they say a lot of cash players are the same, when they go over to tournament poker, they just, you know, they're aggressive because they're bringing that mentality from the home games that they play, and that aggression is great in tournament poker. So yeah, maybe it's a transition, but you know, at the beginning it might help.
It's a transition only because I say I feel like the patience aspect, and then it's like a patience aspect, and then understanding what you're trying to do, right? Because it's like when you're in cash, the freedom to move, go, and do what you want, it's freeing. But when you're in a tournament, you're sitting down there and you want to see every single hand, and you want to try to play for 12. Like in a cash game, I'll play 2 hours and just get up. You know, I clip up the table for $5,000. I'm up. I don't care. All right, bye guys. You know, you got to stay there. And we all know what it's like in tournaments. You could run a stack up and then lose it in like 3 hours out.
And that's the reason I don't like to play cash. I only play tournaments because I don't like going there for 2 hours, you know, taking everybody's money and then leaving. Feel like I'm gonna get jumped in the parking lot or something. If I'm playing a tournament,
they gotta see me. They gotta see me.
You gotta leave before I do. So I'm the last one standing.
Listen, I tell people all the time, man. I'm here. I sit down at the table. I'm taking your money. That's it.
Facts.
It is. That's what it is.
No problems, because they're trying to take my money. So by all means, I have no quarrel with it.
What do they call it? Hit and run or dine and dash or something like that. There's a term for it.
Hit and run.
A lot of money.
Hit and run. Yeah.
What is it?
Hit and run.
Hit and run. If you just win a pot and leave, I don't do that. Like I've never been a hit and run person. Yeah. Like I'll give you the opportunity to play another hand with me, try to get your money back. Right. But for the most part, like if I'm playing cash, I'm trying to snipe the table.
Yeah. Like, so at least if you gotta go, you're giving at least a heads up. Like, all right, I'm gonna give you
like, oh guys, I'm playing 2 more rounds to my buddy. Yeah.
Give you a chance to play a little extra. Like, all right, I'll give you a chance to win it back. I think that's really big too in just like overall playing in home games. Yeah. If you're gonna play with the same people, you don't want to be that guy that you just win and you just sit there as a nit. You want to give action back. And I feel like it goes
still
both
an
ways.
Action player for sure. I'm still an action player because I know I can outplay people post flop.
That's where it is.
So you know, I don't mind. I play a lot of cards.
But that's pretty reasonable, telling people like 2 rounds. I never had even thought of that or heard of that. And that's actually
no, because you know, in cash games, it's funny, right? So in cash games, your name still means a lot, because if you're known as the nit, you're not gonna get invited to those games. People are not gonna want you in those games. Mm-hmm. So I also understand that I have to be a driver for action. I have to be a driver for a good game, for a good conversation, for all these things to facilitate a table where action is flowing.
Yeah, a table where you want to come back, because that's the
like they're like, oh, I want to play with, like, because you gotta understand something. Like I play, like even now, I play cash. I play in, you know, the clubs here in Austin, and I basically like, I don't want to be known, because at the end of the day, like I know I can outplay a good amount of people. I don't want to be known for the guy that's just going to be like, oh no, I don't want to get in a hand with him.
Yeah,
that's very true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I have to be able to level out so I can play freely. Because I like being able to just play any game and nobody has a problem with me in the game.
Exactly. Because then you got to make extra adjustments because they're trying to, play a certain way against you.
Yeah,
So that actually brings me to the
politics.
next question. Like, what's the sketchiest place you ever played in, or like the sketchiest poker situation you've been in?
35K spots.
Well, no, that was in the city. That's like a penthouse vibe. That was dope. But like I've played in some basements that you gotta walk through some other things that you got no light, flickering light. You're like, yo, now I'm about to get robbed, man. This is not safe, man. And you still go. It's like, oh well, fuck it, I'm going. Like
if the action's good, you there.
Yeah, we still go and we still played,
Would you still
I mean, I've seen some sketchy places.
Today?
What?
Would you still go to those same spots today?
Never. I got too much to lose now. Well, I mean, I had a lot to lose then, but you don't realize it when you're young.
Exactly. 100%. Exactly.
So
I'm
older now. I got a family. I got a wife and kid, house. I'm not risking it. I don't even go to home games in Texas.
How old are you?
How
old are you?
I'm 34.
Okay, I'm 33. I remember.
Yeah.
I'm the grandpa of the bunch. I'm 35.
Listen, we're all the same age group, man.
Nah, well, let me ask you this, just since we're on the topic of just birthdays, and I'll open this up to just everyone. So just like on the topic, like I have a birthday coming up in a month, and everyone always says, like, gambling your birthday, you got lucky. What do both of y'all think? Like, have y'all ever tried playing cards or gambling on your birthday? Like, do you think like you win more on your birthday, or you think it's the opposite, or you think that's just made up in some people's mind? Because I see more people lose on their birthday than win when I go to AC.
You see people win?
No, lose. I see people lose on their birthday ribbon on, and they're there like losing hand after hand. Like,
first of all, if you got a birthday ribbon on, you just that's like minus EV right there.
Yeah, you definitely got to lose there.
You're already like over expecting something for the night. You know what I'm saying? You probably drinking.
Birthday hat on.
Yeah, once you're drinking, I mean that's negative EV, right?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like you're done. It's but. They say you win. What's the saying? You win when you need it most, or when you least expect it and you need it most, right? So you don't need it on your birthday because you're out there flying and you're expecting it. So going
That's
by
a good
that
saying. I like that saying.
It's true, and I think that'll bring us like to a really good segue too. Like one thing you just said, Moses, that stuck with me is when you drink, right? I feel like when I play cash games, knowing I could leave at any time, I'm there to have a good time. So even though I could play bigger games, I feel there are times you're like, you know what? I just want to watch the football game or the basketball game. So you may drink, but you're going to play like maybe a lower stakes for 1-200 and relax if it's a smaller game. So one of the things that I try not to do is if I'm doing a tournament, I'm not drinking at all. I'm just going to sit, drink water. Probably I may have a beer if I'm in the money, but that's something I think that really resonated to me is the no drinking in the tournament, because you got to survive. I remember drinking in the tournament. I had a case of beer. I probably peed 3 times an orbit, just getting up every minute trying to run and come back. That was one thing. And then I think when you drink it makes you a little bit more just overall aggressive. And I don't think that's always, just depending on the stage of the tournament, the best thing, but definitely resonate to you in terms of just like no-nos while the tournament. But any other no-nos for you, Chris, and then for you too as well, Tony, when you guys do a tournament, since we're all like tournament grinders, was like a no-no for you that you would do in cash that you wouldn't do in a tournament?
I would say probably, have a drink, even though I slowed down on drinking overall. I don't really drink at all anymore, but if any difference, it would have been having a drink for sure.
Same.
I mean, this is my job, this is my living, so I take it very serious. I'm super focused when I'm at that table.
I like that, because if you think about it, you'll never drink at your job because it'll mess up.
Exactly. I'll never go into my business drinking and like, no, I'm focused. I'm doing something. I'm working. I'm not. There's no games.
Nah, that makes sense. And for you, Tony, anything that you would do in a cash game that's like a no-no for you when you like do a tournament?
Nah, man. For one, I don't even play cash. But for tournaments, yeah, I'm not drinking. Um, I don't even really talk to people. You know, like if it's like one of these little bar games, sure, I'll talk to people. You know, we'll conversate about whatever's going on. But like when I'm in a big tournament, a serious tournament, I'm not really talking to you. You know, at all.
That's a good point too. I mean,
yeah, like I'm not trying to give you no type of information, and any information I'm giving you, I'm purposely giving it to you. You know what I'm saying? So
it makes perfect sense. And I think that's like a good segue too, where we all have our favorite poker player. I think like the talking aspect, I think there are some people that do well when they do like the new term is speech play. But I know like in a previous episode, I said like my favorite player was like Dwight Pilgrim. I just love the energy he had, the positivity, a little bit of the smack talking. And then granted, he's from New York as well. So for Chris, I'm curious for you, who's like your favorite poker player and why?
My favorite poker player. Okay, so so I take pieces from a lot of people, and I watch and I study the game, right? So I love Daniel Negreanu's speech play because I like how first of all, I like his overall thought process. I like how he works things out, but I like how he says it to the person to freeze them.
Absolutely.
So I love that. And then one of my aspirations, honestly, is to have a career like Eric Seidel. The man doesn't make any noise, goes under the radar, and still is like top 5 in cash all-time tournament wins. Low key, like I swear to God, Liz, no, I've never seen him in any controversy, no noise, anything. The man comes, he wins, he leaves. That is it.
He handles business. That's it.
That's what I aspire to do. I just come in. I'm not here to like. I'm cordial. Hey guys, you know I understand. We chilling. We play, but I'm here to win and go home. I have a family. I have goals and aspirations. I'm trying to kill that, and that's it.
Makes perfect sense.
Yo, real quick. Man, you look like J. Cole a lot of it, bro.
Yeah, I know. I get that too, man. Yeah. I get that. Trust me, I get it.
So you said studying. You study Negreanu. Any other people that you study? Like
that study. I studied a lot of the Euros.
Okay.
I don't want to get anyone's name wrong because a lot of their names. But I mainly study a lot of Euros too because they have, and I've had this conversation with Damien before, they have a great understanding of GTO, but understand how to exploit very well. And I tell them it's a perfect, like you're trying to get a perfect hybrid balance of understanding the GTO to understanding what the range is, but understanding the person and how to exploit them every time. So I think the Euros have a really, and they just do it like machines. I don't know what it is about them. So study a lot of Euros, and then yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't. As far as players, I don't really. And like I said, Daniel, I like his speech play. Eric Seidel, his work ethic. As far as that, I don't really, I don't do much of studying other human beings because I'm also trying to create my own strategy. The goal is to, build my own strategy, show that it's a winning strategy, and probably sell it.
Yep. There you go. That's the plan. That's pretty much every poker player's plan.
Because I see people do it, and it's like they'll be like, "Yeah, I won." They'll be like, "I won one championship." They have $1 million in cashes, and they're automatically their coaches, and they're selling their strategy. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but even that, it's like, one time. There's a lot of one-hit wonders out there. You know what I'm saying?
That's my point. Yeah. That's my point. That's what if they're able to do that, or for those credentials, it's kind of like, okay, and I'm willing to put in the work and build my portfolio, like show, like, listen, you know, this is my 5 years of work. This is what I was able to do in 5 years.
You know, and I don't know if you can get back into what we were discussing off camera, but yeah, I mean, it's, you know, there's a lot of people like us out there that, you know, doing monumental things in the poker industry. And then you see, I don't even want to say names, but I got a few on the top of my mind that are doing nonsense on live TV with tons of money. That is just, I mean, I get it. It's probably good for TV, but you know, there's people out there that are just doing crazy things that just aren't getting the recognition.
Yeah, I mean, we were having a conversation basically about race in poker, basically how the numbers are skewed, which, I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, the population is skewed, so understanding that, you know, our counterparts will be heavily of another race. But I feel like we become polarizing figures. Like when you think of one of us, it goes Phil Ivey. And I always get asked about Phil Ivey, like I'm supposed to know Phil Ivey. Why would I, why must I know him? Right? You know, like, why am I supposed to know him? Like, I always ask, have you ever played it? You know, and obviously those are more like non-poker players. And even the poker players, you know, it's like, the comparisons to, like you said, I look like J. Cole. I'll get at the amount of times I've been walked up to and be like, hey, you know, you look like J. Cole. Thank you. You know, or The Walking Dead, the King Ezekiel. I get that all the time.
Yeah.
the new movie, the new show for the dragons or whatever that thing, that
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is like, and he was like, yeah, it is. And I'm like, I understand. You can come up to me and say hello, ask me my name, ask, you know, talk poker with me, but it's always the instant connection that people, when they see me, is just what I look like. Yeah. I mean, and that's why I play off of it. That's why my nickname is Moses. I understand it. I live off of that. But you know, that's why the goal is to monetize the brand, because if you're gonna polarize me for how I look, you're gonna have to pay me for it.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, go ahead, Tony. My bad.
Oh, Damien, man, no, nothing's free out here, Damien. Don't be trying to, Damien trying to bring people on the podcast that are already established and stuff. I'm like, well, you know, we're not promoting other brands out here for free, you know.
Yeah. But
I don't mind.
It becomes a shared partnership if their brand is big enough. That's how I see it. Like if your brand is big enough and we could mutually gain something, then okay. Yeah. But for the most part, everything I've ever done in life, I promote myself. That's why I wear my business on my chest. Like at the end of the day, we become too comfortable promoting other people without promoting ourselves. And I'm a big factor in promoting myself. As far as poker, like I said, this is my first year playing poker professionally. Mm-hmm. So I was more focused on results. And slowly and surely, I want to build a catalog of, you know, visuals to start promoting and stuff like that. But it takes time. And I also know that this is a grind. So I respect the grind. I respect the fact that this takes time. And at the end of the day, I just want to work on really being good, because there's people that can build a brand exponentially and aren't that good. We see those players all the time. We see them on TV. We see them get notoriety. We see all that. And then you look at them like, I'm 10 times better than. So, but I never feel hate. I never get jealousy. I just go, oh, let me keep working. Because I've learned that as long as you work and outwork everybody, you'll get the notoriety. Because when you make it to that final table and you're that person holding the trophy, there is no, oh, we don't know him. No, you know me. Exactly. You see me. I'm the only picture up right now. You understand?
I love that you said that. One of the questions we always want to give everybody that we bring on the podcast an opportunity to promote, shout out, whatever they can. So what's on your shirt there? And
well, this is my business out in New York. So I own an auto repair business in New York called Noli's. It's in right on Utica Avenue, right in Brooklyn, New York. 1859 Utica, Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
You know, March makes 10 years. I'll be in business.
Okay.
And,
What's up?
you know,
Oh, yeah.
thank you. You know, so I'm blessed. And that's why I continue to promote it. I continue to work at it. And just moving to Austin was a transition. And I didn't want to open up another shop. So one of my dreams was poker. So it was like, okay, I think this is my time to pursue one of my dreams. And that's why I take it so serious.
Yeah.
Because to play with your dreams is just playing with your life. And I can't play with my life. Like I got too much on the line.
Yep. Bars. I don't even think J. Cole could have said that one. Bars.
Listen, come on, man. I might have wrote a rap for him, 1 or 2 raps for him, you know?
Let's go. And I think kind of to put everything like full circle and full steam, like I know that transition is like a transition a lot of people have to make. So it's like you have your 9 to 5, and then you have that 5 to 9 that a lot of people discuss. So hearing that, you know, you're an entrepreneur, and you consider poker that same entrepreneurial type of mindset, and to build a personal brand. And once the personal brand, the accolades will come, or you got to grind. Like it's almost as if you're treating your poker business and the opportunity in Austin with the card houses and tournaments. I know I've even seen you in like live streams now. Just see what you've done in the first year is just like really impressive to just watch. And that personal brand, I mean, at one point, I think you even have like a little logo, right? For the Poker Moses, you have like a black and white logo. Tell us a little bit about like, the logo, what was the inspiration behind the personal brand, and what we could expect from you in 2023.
So I'll tell you something. That logo was made before I even ever thought of doing this professionally. Because
Wow.
because I had the nickname. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I have the nickname. I went online, you know, those Fiverr or one of them, and I said, listen, let's find
You
somebody.
paid and they designed the logo for
I
you?
paid, yeah. I'm like, listen, because at the end of the day, I'm still an entrepreneur. I've been a boss almost 10 years. I understand what it takes to build something.
Absolutely.
You understand? So it's like, okay, cool. And at the end of the day, there's a reason why Coca-Cola and Pepsi still pay millions of dollars for advertising, is because you have to be in people's minds consistently. And what they do is it's a logo. So always make a logo, always brand yourself, and always push it. So I already knew, all right, cool. I got to start with that. Then it's like, all right, let's put in the work. As you put in the work, people will see you. And like I said, we're polarizing.
Absolutely.
There's not that many of us. So if we're naturally going to be looked at, you're going to look at me, you're going to look at my brand, and you're going to notice me. And then behind it comes the work to go, oh, okay, no, this guy he's winning. Okay. All right. Let's do a partnership. I want you to wear my patch. I want you to do, oh, okay. Well, it costs this much. And then you keep building. And you keep building.
So
that's how I see it.
I think you're doing it 100% the right way, and your name is sticking out there. And I think just having that opportunity in Austin, like having the results and a unique brand that people gravitate to, that's like the formula of success. So like talking about just 2023 and success, what are your poker goals for 2023, or what can we expect for you in 2023?
So 2023, so 2022, my original goal was just to hit 6 figures in tournaments, because in your mind, you're like, oh, like that's what you have to hit just to start making a name. Crush that. And it was like, oh, okay. Originally, it was like make 100. Then second year, make 250. So I'm already closing out close to 200 for this year. So hopefully next year, we're going to add on an additional 250. And if we could close out by $500,000 by the end of next year, that's the goal. Because next year, hopefully, I will. I also recently just had my first child, so I wasn't able to travel. Thank you. So I wasn't able to travel. So next year, the goal is to travel to play the bigger tournaments to get the bigger cashes. Because I believe my strategy applies.
March.
I only so far only have Hollywood. So I'll be in Florida. I'm
In
going
January?
to. Yeah, I'm gonna be there for January.
All right, bet.
Um,
I'm hosting you here once you get here. I'll be back for
yes,
that
yes,
too.
my brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So that's all I have planned out so far is January. But I believe my strategy translates to any field because I've played tournaments with 400 people and I've played tournaments with almost 3,000 people, and I've almost final table either way. You know, my best, my obviously I'm final table and won tournaments, but in my biggest field of about 2,500 people, I got 16th. So it was like, okay, so even in large fields, I can get to at least the second to last table. And it's like, all right, those big fields where like in Florida, it's 3,000, 4,000. I think I could still translate my strategy. And because I think it translates, my cash should be bigger. So that's the goal. Like, okay, again, these bigger tournaments, these bigger spots for bigger money. So that's why I believe by next year, hope if I add at least another 250, which is the goal, we can near, hitting 500,000 tournaments by next year. And in 3 years, the goal is 1 million. But we're gonna see.
It sounds like a good.
Try to make it out to Turning Stone, New York, in March. We're already making it a trip.
In March? You mean it's upstate?
Yeah, upstate, close to Syracuse.
Yeah. I heard it gets big up there because they recently started getting tournaments out there, right?
Yeah, it's a WTP stop now.
Yeah, it's a stop now. It wasn't a stop before. Now it is. Yeah.
I mean, last year I went and they destroyed. I think it was a 500K guaranteed, and the shit broke. It was like 1.2 million that it ended up being. It was crazy, and I basically bubbled it. I was heated. Some guy cracked my aces.
It's always like that. It's always, you know how it goes.
Yeah, no comment. I'll leave it alone. That's the I'll see with me and my aces this week. I'll leave it alone.
Yeah. I seen your story, man.
I saw the story too.
Haitian Gene got you, man.
Yeah, he got me. But I think that's what I enjoy about poker, right? Like to kind of put everything full circle. Like all three of us, we have other forms of business, right? And if poker was my only source of income, I think I'd drive myself insane. Like it's all good when we speak about results. Like this was my first year having multiple 10K cashes. So for me, my little goal was, hey, to do a big field and to make a day two, because I've never did that. So it's like I hit my goals, so I'm doing bigger goals next year. My goal is 50K, not as large because I consider this like a secondary income. But for me, what I enjoy is the people sitting here talking to you about the game and learning more about you and speaking to Tony or even Haitian Gene that cracked my aces where we can laugh it off. But I think one of the biggest transitions for most people and what this podcast is about, right, is that my stance is like poker ain't life. If you submit yourself too much into poker and worry about the results, the game gets really dark and you could kind of resent the game itself. The bad beats hurt even more when you need it. The deep runs hurt even more if you don't have, like, let's say 100% of yourself in. Now that 10K cash is only a 4K cash because you didn't have all percent of yourself. So my stance is that poker ain't life. So if you could have a balance where you put life before poker, it works for you.
Yeah,
but Tony, what's your stance?
I was gonna say, wait, can I fucking, so my stance is poker is life if done right. You know what I'm saying? Like if you are doing the right things like studying and having a balanced lifestyle, then poker can definitely be a means to having a better life for sure. That's what what we're trying to do. So we're trying to create. So I guess what Damien's question is to you is poker life or is poker ain't life?
I mean, poker definitely isn't life.
Let's go.
But let me break down how I see it. I don't think any of it is life. I don't think my business is my life. I don't think any career is life. I think life boils down to your health and your family and the relationships that you build throughout life. I've seen money come and go. I've made money, I've lost money, I've made from a very young age.
Right.
I don't look at poker for that reason. I look at poker as anything I do, I just want to be great at it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Like if you go to Brooklyn and ask anybody about fixing Europeans, they'll know my business. They'll know me because I've built a name and I'm really good at what I do. And because I'm really good at what I do, I don't have to, my name speaks for itself. So that's more pleasurable than the fact that I'm making money, is the fact that my name means something because it's entrenched in my hard work. So I would never say that poker is life. It's a way to a better life.
That's what I said.
Absolutely. It is a way to a better life, but you still have to be in yourself as a person, that type of person, because we've seen people have, I've seen millionaires losing. Yeah. I've seen millionaires that are unhappy. I've seen millionaires that don't have family, that don't have their health. You know, when you a rich man only wants one thing: health. You understand? So it's like, I mean, a sick person only wants one thing: it's health. You know what I'm saying? So it's like being rich doesn't really persuade me. It's just I want to be really great at what I do whenever I do something. Yeah. So I chose poker because I have a passion for it.
That's interesting. We probably should, we should probably talk about that on another episode. Just like, I feel like in general, poker players aren't healthy. We don't live.
Not at all. None of them. So none of them. None of them work out. The very few do, but
yeah. What's that?
Just that, like, very few of them work out. I see them. They're very unhealthy. Yeah. And that's why I don't confine myself to saying like that's all I am. Yeah. Like I will never be just that. I will. At the end of the day, I'm a father now. So I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a son, I'm a brother, like that's what I am. And those are the people that mean a lot to me in this world.
I got one final question for you. Sure. What do you think? So you were just saying that, you don't define yourself as just a poker player. And I think that's one of the reasons why I never consider myself like a professional. I mean, I have 2 5-figure wins, but I really wanted to kind of get the third 5-figure win to consider myself a professional. So I guess my question to you is, what do you think makes a poker player a professional?
How you carry yourself. If you're a professional, you're a professional. That means because I look at it like this, right? And that's why I say when I go to a game, even cash, I facilitate the game. I understand how to carry the game because that is my job. My job is to facilitate this game, to create the action, to create the game, the atmosphere that people want to continue playing. So in my mind, that makes me a professional. Yep. Also, the fact that, I do play for a living. Like my poker income attributes to my household. So if I make money, it goes, my wife is, hey, thank you. You understand? So she's seen the cashes. I've dropped the money, I've dropped the bricks of money and like, here, leave me alone, have a good day.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, leave me alone. Hey, here's a good day, God bless you, and let me go keep doing, because I didn't know when to consider myself a professional. I know this is my first year going pro because this is my first year truly committing to this and playing tournaments. Yeah. I don't know if it was about the 5-figure wins or I haven't had a 6-figure win yet. Yeah. Will it come? Sure. Yeah. But I've been consistent. I've had 16 cashes this year, 7 or 8 final tables.
Yep. Working.
Let's go.
So to me, that makes me a professional.
I agree.
Because I'm consistently doing it and getting better every chance I get. Yep. So that's what I consider myself a professional. I agree. And I can't wait for somebody else to label me that. I have to label myself that.
Yeah. Damn, I think that's like the mic drop right there, Tony. I don't think we could say anything else. That's the mic drop right there. So thank y'all. Most importantly, thank you, Poker Moses, Chris, coming through. Definitely wanted you to speak to your journey. It was everything we expected and more. Like, I'm going to use this for just motivation. I'm about to do a tournament, go study, go get healthier, go do everything I need to do to realize that poker ain't life. Tony, we're up right now, 2-1, poker ain't life. Thank y'all for episode 3.